Hello everybody and welcome to a beautiful day out here at Bluejay Field, and we're about to broadcast a game for you guys between the Liberty Bluejays and the St. Joe Central Indians. And Jackson, I'm very happy to be here with you today and call you this game.
Yeah, we should have a really good game in store today with St. Joe Central and Liberty. Got Carlos Valencia pitching and saw him warm up in the pen, look good, so let's see what he can do today.
Yes, we already got the starting lineups down and we're getting right into baseball here. I'm excited.
Beautiful day. And we will lead off
with
Aaron Moore.
Plays outfield.
And the first pitch is high for a ball.
Blue Jays have gotten a really good start to this year, being 17-2, and
second pitch is a strike.
Good there, 1-1 now the count on Aaron Moore, and this team's been really well known for their small ball. They're really good with bunting, getting runners in scoring position, and that's something they always do.
That's a hard hit ball to right, and that should be taken care of. So 1 up, 1 down for Valencia. Back to what you were saying, Brent.
And this team is really led very well by seniors, and there's 15 seniors on this team, and it's no question everybody's a leader. They're all really close on this team, and in my opinion, they're led a lot by their shortstop, Joe Kidd.
And here's the first pitch, and that is ripped.
Right at Joe, makes a nice diving stop, goes in and makes,
safe as he fell off the bag. Gives an athletic play by Joe Kinder, but safe at first because the throw pulled him off the bag, so it's an infield single.
Good play though by Joe Kinder. He's been a heck of a player last year, batted over 400, and finally got his home run earlier this year. He got in a few close last year and finally got a 2-run home run. It helped Blue Jays get a victory earlier this year and made the All-State team last year.
So 1 fly out to right and a base hit, and let's see what Valencia comes back with, a strike.
This is St. Joe's number 3 batter. Number 2, Jacob Gill, plays third base.
3 holds such a pivotal spot in your lineup.
Yes.
Can be a great run producer, and in this situation, even though no one's in scoring position, it's still a big spot. Move that runner over possibly. And that ball is hit pretty high, going over, and ooh, just missing it.
Just out of the reach of number 4, Matt.
That was very close to being a phenomenal play. Would have been, and the count will go to 0-2. So on 0-2, try to put the ball in play, make something happen, make the defense get you out rather than striking out, but Valencia has got some good stuff. Let's see what the 0-2 pitch is.
Yeah, Valencia's working on a slider earlier today in the pen, and it looked really well. He was missing down, which is what you want in a slider, and it looks like he
just
missed outside there.
Count goes to 1-2. Waste pitch, if you would call it, trying to get him to chase.
But nothing doing, and he hasn't really made any attempts at first base, so we don't know how fast this guy is. He's a second hole hitter, so should be able to steal a bag, and that's what the name of the game for the Blue Jays.
And now he finally checks over, and he is safe at first.
There,
so yeah, right on cue.
I don't think that's his best move there. You don't show your best pickoff move right away in the first inning of the game. You want to show them that good move, and then eventually he'll come out with a quicker one. You see the 1-2 pitch.
That swung on and hit into right, coming in. That ball's gonna fall. Throw to second is not in time, and it's a base hit. So 2 hits. Not terribly hard hit by the St. Joe Central, but it is runners at first and second with only 1 away.
For the cleanup hitter, which is the pitcher in tonight's game, number 25, Noah Cameron.
It's odd to have your pitcher this high in the lineup.
Yeah, but hey, if you can hit and you can do it,
you can hit.
Why not?
Maybe so like Steven Matz.
Yes, after.
Very good hitting pitcher.
Yes, after the fly out to begin the game, 2 straight singles, and
that ball's popped way high
behind us and towards our production truck, and it hits our production truck.
It hits the production truck. You don't see that every day. I'm sure there's a couple flinches in there. Count is 0-1. He's been ahead in a lot of counts.
Yeah, but he just hasn't been able to finish guys away. It must be leaving the slider or fastball right over the plate, and they can get it.
That's outside ball.
And it's kind of unfortunate too that that first infield single was a great play by Joe Kinder.
Yeah,
just couldn't
if
quite
he could have
get it
just thrown a
throw.
little more accurate, then maybe get the nice out.
Don't take anything away from him. That was a phenomenal
Yeah.
play. I mean, to not let that get through and almost make a play out of it, it's cool.
And that ball
That's
is
in play.
hit very hard to right, but playable. Catch is made.
No tag in the runner,
No
so
tag. Good throw in.
that's an important out right there. So now you got 2 down.
It's very important out, and he's
2 on.
he hasn't gotten that strikeout or that even ground out, but you know he's so far a contact pitcher. He likes to use his defense, and why not with this incredible squad?
Yeah, that's right. This team's very well known for their defense and offense and just all around team play. And that's one thing that frustrates a lot of teams is our ability to come back at any time in the game.
So here we go, 2 outs, 2 on, and a big at bat. That is a strike. Nice pitch by Valencia. So again, ahead in the count.
Yeah, that was a great off-speed pitch.
You were gonna jump up and grab that one, right?
0-1 on number 14. Zach Hanlon is the designated hitter.
And
The
here
0-1 pitch
is the 0-1 pitch. That's hit very hard to left. That's going to split the gap, and that's going to plate possibly 2. It will plate 2, and it'll be a 2-run.
Hanlon's going to come in for a double, so not a very well pitched inning here for Carlos Valencia. Seems to be missing out over the plate, which is something you never want to do, especially with a good contact team like St. Joe. But it's still very early, especially with the Blue Jays and their style of play. So,
yep.
But a 2-out double from Zach Hanlon. Good for St. Joe to get ahead here on the very, very
you
Blue Jays team.
You hope it's like a James Shields where it's only a struggle in the first, and if you can get past the first, you dominate. Hopefully that's what Valencia brings tonight. And there's a strike, so again ahead in the count. He's been ahead in almost, I think, every count, and just he's leaving him over the plate. So we'll see what he can do this time. And that ball's hit very hard to center. Going back is Craig, and that's going to go off. And he slips in center, picks it up, and he'll stop at second. Very fortunate for the Blue Jays, and it's another run. Valencia got shelled again on that pitch.
Back-to-back doubles from Zach Hanlon and Drew Pecora. And
3-0 already.
Contact hitting team so far. St. Joe, I wasn't really expecting this from the Blue Jays pitching.
Yeah, Valencia needs to get that ball down. He's leaving it too high. And he's struggling.
Already got somebody warming up the bullpen, number 23.
And there's a swing and a miss. There's a swing and a miss. 0-1 count. Again ahead in the count.
Van Black.
You know, this is just disappointing that there's already got to be a guy up in the pen. Hopefully Valencia fights through this inning.
Yeah, and that Coach Bragg is always doing that for precautions. Bragg's confident that Valencia can get out of this inning, but it is 4-0 in the top of the first, only 2 outs. So that's something that just can't happen here in baseball.
And
so number 8, Zach Knetzer, second baseman.
And the pitch count's got to be high. As there's the pitch, and it's high. And there's the 1 and 2 on the batter. See if Valencia can get a strikeout. It'd be the first one of the day for him. And that ball is hit very hard into left, going back, and he just cannot make the athletic catch. And he'll throw it in there. It's another double for the St. Joe Central. So
back-to-back doubles
to make it 4-0. Valencia is getting shelled early in this game.
So a fly out to begin the game to right, an infield single, a single out to right, a fly out to right, and back-to-back doubles.
And you know, he was only a strike away from getting out of this inning.
That's some great 2-out hitting right here.
Yeah, and you know, those aren't balls that necessarily our Blue Jay outfielders can't get. It's just that those were very well placed balls, and just very fortunate for them that those were.
The Blue Jays have a very, very fast outfield.
Yeah, it's just very
very fortunate. The speed that we have here on this team.
That ball swung on and missed, and again ahead in the count.
So this is the catcher, number 3, Caden Root. That's his first miss, first bat missed here in this game.
Definitely something he'll need more of if he wants to stay in this game for much longer. There's the kind of a quick pitch, and
down in the dirt.
Blocked in the dirt.
That's a good 0-2, 1-2 pitch. I don't know necessarily that I would have thrown that in 0-1 count, but hey, he's trying to be aggressive, and that's all you can do with it.
Yep. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And that is a strike, 1-2. So again, one pitch away from getting out of the inning. Can he do it? Blue Jay outfielders are playing rather deep.
The 1-2 pitch to Caden Root.
Swing and a miss, and that is the inning. So Valencia struggles in the first, but the Blue Jays would got at the bottom of the first with a pretty big hole to fill. It is 4-0 St. Joe Central. Valencia in that last inning, you know, tried to get his control under, but whenever you're missing, you'd rather miss really high or really low than have it curl over the middle or hang over the middle, and that's what I think the problem was in that first.
And there's nothing more frustrating than a Blue Jays offense. They are very, very impressive. I have no doubt they come back in this game. Very frustrating in the sense of they do a lot of small ball, a lot of good things, moving the runners over, stealing bases, and that's something that frustrates a pitcher and all the other teammates, and the Blue Jays are never out of the game.
No, kind of like the Kansas City Royals, always putting the ball in play and always staying in the game. So we have Noah Cameron pitching today for the St. Joe Central.
Flew out to right his first time at bat. Was one of the
you know, batting fourth in the lineup, kind of odd, but must be a good hitting pitcher. And we'll see what he can do on the mound. As
St. Joe Central takes the field, and Joe Kinder, number 12, the senior that I was talking about earlier, will be leading off for the Jays. Batted over 400 last year, 407, I believe, 407.
And you know, there's nothing more frustrating than if you're Joe Kinder thinking, you know, I made that such an athletic play, but if I just could have made a little more accurate of a throw, we could have got out of that inning with less damage. But nonetheless, a spectacular athletic play from Joe Kinder. And
yeah, it never ceases to amaze the crowd, everybody. Very, very well-rounded individual and very great baseball player.
And we'll see what he can do with the bat pretty soon, as he's going to be able to lead off this game.
Catching, Caden Root, pitching, Noah Cameron. Leading off for the Blue Jays shortstop, Joe Kinder.
It's a pretty decent crowd here tonight, as there always is here at Blue Jay Field. And that kind of helps when you're as successful as the Blue Jays are every year. Undefeated to this point in conference play, 5-0, 17-2 overall. Very, very impressive start here for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, let's see what Joe Kinder can do at the plate, as the first pitch is a strike down the middle.
Joe Kinder has a very good eye out there on the plate. Very, very smart baseball player. Knows what he's doing. Knows where to look
here's
for.
The 0-1. Kinder will foul that straight back.
It's 0-2 now.
Yeah, and you know, always, you know, taking that first pitch isn't a bad thing, but it also can be one of the best pitches to hit, the very first pitch of the game. You know, the pitcher's not really throwing his best stuff yet, and you know, you've got something on him, and there's a ball, makes count 1-2, but especially like a hitter with Kinder, who is really good at putting the ball in play, and he's got some pretty good speed.
That's right. He also got some pop too, as I said earlier. Had a 2-run home run earlier in the year, and
that is
foul.
Just foul, coming right down third base line.
Back right there by Joe Kinder.
If that would have been fair, that would have been extra bases.
No doubt. Blue Jays led by Coach Bragg, Kirk Bragg. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. Very, very successful coach. And
Kinder hits that into right. That's going to be foul. Very good at bat put up so far to lead off the game by Joe Kinder.
You can never expect anything less from Joe Kinder. Very, very, very good player.
And likes to put the ball in play and see if he can do that with a 2-strike count.
Starting shortstop since sophomore year, which is very hard to do, and 0-2 is put in play, but should be
right to second, and there is one away in the first inning. So just like Valencia did, Cameron got the very first batter of the game to got him to hit it to the defense and got him out. So let's see what Blue Jays offense can do now with one out, as St. Joe erupted after the first batter.
Zach Knatzer made the play there at second. He had a crucial RBI double there in the last inning. They almost batted around last inning too. You don't normally see that against the Blue Jays that often.
And that ball's in the dirt.
Justin Rochester taking ball 1.
Yeah, that ball's in the dirt for ball 2.
So back-to-back sliders in the dirt. It's not something
you rarely see that. You might see, you know, you're accustomed to seeing a ball in the dirt.
Cameron must have thought he was going to fool him there on that pitch, but Justin Rochester not fooled it one bit. 2-0 pitch.
And he'll give that one a pretty good hit, and that's into right field for a base hit. So the Blue Jays, just as the St. Joe did, get it on base, a single to start the first inning for them.
And that's what you want to do in a 2-0 count. You want to find your pitch. That's a hitter's count. You don't want to ever make it out on a 2-0 pitch. And he did exactly what you want to do with that. Hit it hard somewhere and found a hole. So Blue Jays gets momentum.
And let's see what the 3-hole can do. Such a pivotal player in the lineup. And he gives that one a pretty good ride.
Should be there.
Going into left, and that'll make the catch, and that'll be out number 2. So swinging at the first pitch and flies out.
Just missed that. Just got under it.
Yeah.
That was
Get
really well struck ball.
You get all the barrel of the bat on that, and it's gone. And here is Craig Strauss, very experienced player.
I'm a little surprised to see him batting 4th today, Jackson. Normally, he's a very, very well 1 or 2 guy. He's got speed, good contact, but
as we see the contact there, and a foul ball straight back.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Rochester there on first base take a bag here in the next couple pitches. That's the name of the game for the Blue Jays: stealing bases and bunting, moving guys over.
And that's high.
Joe Kinder.
Maybe not as high as Craig made it to be, but
Craig Strauss got a little bit of chin music right there, but
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see this base stolen, or attempted at least. And
Cameron is a lefty, though, and that's a very tough thing for a base runner. You see Rochester, when that pitch was thrown, took a step back towards first, because it's so hard to tell with the lefty, especially as you get up into the higher level like this. It's a very hard thing to do.
And that ball's low, so
3-1
Craig's got himself in a pretty good count. And look for a piece of cheese down the middle, or do you just take all the way here?
It has to be you. If it's 3-0, if it was 3-0, I'd probably say take it. But
as that is ball 4, so
good bet by Craig Strauss.
Good at bat by him too. Not swinging at anything that he shouldn't have. And you know, on a 3-1 count, you can get so antsy thinking the pitcher's gonna give you something to hit. In that case, the pitcher was not giving anything to Craig, and he decided to take the walk. So very good plate discipline by him. And now we've got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. So let's try to see what the Blue Jays can do.
Brandon Green with 2 on and 2 out.
And he'll
swung on and missed there by the Blue Jay left fielder.
Just put the ball in play, see what can happen.
Cameron had a pretty well-rounded first inning as the second
and that ball is chopped
to the shortstop, and he's going to try to make the play, and he does.
He will, so
St. Joe gets out of it very well, and
we've played an inning here.
1. It's St. Joe Central 4, Liberty Blue Jays nothing. That's not what I thought would be the case here after the first inning.
No, I definitely didn't believe that that would be the case after an inning. I thought maybe St. Joe might be able to get an early run, but maybe I didn't think 4. But they will send Valencia back out there, and I'll tell you, he didn't look terrible in that inning. It's just that every time he got ahead in the count, he made a mistake pitch, and St. Joe Central was looking for it and capitalized.
And you can't make mistake pitches when you're up in the count.
And you know, it was very interesting how Bragg had someone warming up in the pen last inning, but it appears that they will not make a pitching change yet, and Valencia will go out for the second. So the confidence in him.
All the Blue Jays pitchers this year so far have done a very, very good job this year so far. And
leading off the second inning, left fielder Nick Hamlin.
And never ceases to amaze. They always keep the Blue Jays in the game, and
that defense
are always in it. And they're going to send Colton Van Vleck back to the bullpen to keep a few warm-up tosses in case Valencia gets in any trouble. Van Vleck's a great senior pitcher, sidearm.
There's a strike.
Side armor.
So every count today, Valencia's been ahead.
So he's always started off with first pitch strike, but that's what you want to do. But
It's
if I
just-
was St. Joe, I'd start swinging those first pitches. And
There's a
swing
ball
the
hit
second
pretty
pitches.
hard.
Good play
And
by Valencia is going to toss it to Matt
Valencia makes it.
Gassner, and
So
they're
that-
going to throw it around. 1 down.
That is the start to the inning that you want.
And 4.
You want to start off with a
So
very quick at bat and get the batter out. It doesn't even have to be a strikeout. Just get him out and
with 1 out in the top of the second inning, we are back to the top of the lineup. Aaron Moore led off the game with a flyout to right field. See what he does this time. First pitch is taken high.
that's the first time someone's been ahead in the count on Valencia today. See how they fare out. Pitch. Swung and hit into right, base hit. And just as they did in the second inning, and excuse me, the first inning, they get a guy on base with 1 out.
Left side of left third baseman, Gage Stagner.
But with this defense that the Liberty Blue Jays have, as long as you can put the ball or make them hit it in front of the Blue Jays, you're going to be very successful as a pitcher with how fast they are on defense. No extra bases will be taken. But when it's over their head, that's when the trouble starts, and there's a first pitch strike again.
Carlos really is pushing for a ground ball out right here. Turn 2. Great middle infielders in Justin Bochester and Joe Kinder. They can turn pretty much any double play you can think of.
And that's
Fooled
popped
him right
way
there.
high out of play.
That was that slider he was working on before the game. That was very, very well executed pitch right there to be ahead in the count 0-2 now.
You know, it hasn't been executed perfect through the first 1 and the 3rd innings, but it's been all right now. I feel like it's getting better. At that time, obviously executed it, and we'll see what he does on 2-strike count.
Gage Stagner reached with the infield single last time and just takes up ball 1. 1-2 now.
You know, he was the first one to cross the plate, and then 3 others, of course, came across to score. So he started the damage and just kept going through the lineup. Let's see what Valencia does this time.
The game of baseball seems to always have a recurring theme with you make a mistake, it's going to come back to get you, and they're going to score. And that's what happened in the first inning. Is Aaron Easler throws down the ball, and he is out.
What
Key
a
inning.
nice play.
Great pick up
Strike
throw
him
by
out,
Easler,
throw him
tagged by
out.
Justin Bochester.
Strike him out, throw him out, double play. And who needs the ground ball when you can do that? Nice execution by Valencia and a scoreless inning. So
See, that definitely shifts the momentum back to the Blue Jays, and as they hope to get something done here with the heart of their order coming up, 5, 6, and 7.
good job by Valencia that inning. Didn't panic, kept the ball down. Nice pitch on a 2-strike count, and then a great throw to get a runner going to second. So Valencia, after a very shaky first inning, picks it up in the second. And we'll
Blue Jays
see.
have had a few really good swings so far. Joe Kinder just missed that double down the line, ended up grounding out, and Justin Rochester had that RB line drive single, excuse me, and I think the Blue Jays they'll get something done this inning off Cameron here. Blue Jays led by Kirk Bragg and Vince Armelio, 2 really seasoned coaches, and they really know what they're doing, and they produce a winning team every year.
Yep, never failed to do that, and always a great leadership team.
In the bottom half of the second inning for the Blue Jays, designated hitter Ben Kunkel.
And Kunkel will lead it off, trying to get something going early.
His first year, Ben Kunkel is DHing. There's a lot of seniors this year. Normally he plays outfield, and I heard talk to him, and he likes designated hitting. He helps you really focus on one part of your game, and that's an important thing if you can really focus on one thing. Like Kendrys Morales of the Kansas City Royals really focuses on the hitting, and it works out for him. As he's ahead in the count now, 2-0.
Dangerous count here. And 3-0, so take all the way or swing away. I would take all the way here.
Especially when you're down 4-0, you gotta got to make him give you a pitch here as the 3-0 count.
It is a strike.
It's a strike.
Now with 3-1, I would probably, I would just have a normal approach, and we'll see what he does. Taking all the way to Peard, and
so good job getting back in the count for Cameron. He's working fast up there now, and
there's a nice grounder.
Kunkel to roll over on one.
Second, and safe. So Kunkel gets an infield hit, and that's what speed do.
That's batter's catcher, Aaron Easley.
See what the Blue Jays can do this inning. Leadoff hit.
Next is the very dangerous Blue Jay catcher, Aaron Easley, who has a lot of power, a lot of contact, great eye up there at the plate, and see if he can get Kunkel over to third, possibly even score him. The gap shot here. See if Kunkel tries to take it back here.
I would doubt the first pitch or second, but you know, always looking to steal a bag, and eventually later in the count. And that's a pitch in the dirt that Kunkel could have ran on, but played it safe down 4.
And that's something I know that Coach Bragg stresses on a lot. You got to read the ball in dirt, especially if you're down in the game. You got to get runners in scoring position, and he probably could have made it there.
And that was a strike call, so
looked a little low to me, but
framed a little by the catcher. Great job. And the count will go to
2-1.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Oh, nice swing into center, and that is gonna be caught. So Kunkel will go back to first.
Good warning track there by Aaron Easley, like I said.
Yeah.
And good read by Kunkel. You weren't gonna be able to tag up there, and good job of him to be at second base, ready for that ball to drop, and he could score.
Yeah, you got to go to second, and then with his speed, you can make it back in time if it's caught, which it was. So
1 down now with the runner on first.
I would, you know, if I was Kunkel here, I would steal, but I'd make sure I didn't steal with 2 strikes, because we saw what happened last inning with Valencia getting that strikeout and double play with the runner stealing, and there's a strike.
This right fielder Connor Marchand up at the plate now. Count is 0-1.
Look to put the ball in play here and hopefully find a gap. And that's another strike, so finds himself down 0-2. That was a little off speed there. Might have been looking for something else.
Yeah, looked like he got fooled there. As you see, his stride was, he'd already planted his foot and decided not to swing before that ball was even halfway there. That was
and that ball's hit very hard up the middle. Kunkel was kind of freezing, making sure that wasn't a line drive out. But
nice two-strike hit there for Connor Marchand. Next is Tyler Miller, and see what he can do now. So 2 runners on and 1 out. This is when the Blue Jays thrive. They got runners on with less than 2 out, and they can do a number of things here. They could bunt them over to both have 2 runners in scoring position, and I'll see what they do. And the first pitch is taken for a strike, 0-1.
And you know, I'd be surprised to see a bunt or anything, but trying to move him over, and that's popped pretty high.
But out of play. 0-2.
And pitch.
Outside, 2-2 now.
And you know, I think something with Valencia is pitching out of the stretch. When people were on base, he struggled a little. And when people aren't on base, he really tends to do better. And I think that's been the same for Cameron in this game, as he throws and gets a chase and tags him. And that's out number 2 in the inning, got him chasing. And 2 outs.
Fooled Tyler Miller there, but we're back at the top of the lineup for Joe Kinder.
Very good, experienced hitter. Hopes to find a hole, and with Kunkel's speed at second and running on contact with 2 outs, should be a single, should probably score him. And let's see the first pitch. And that is a little bit of a low strike, so a little bit of a low strike zone, it appears, tonight.
Joe Kinder rarely hits a ball soft, so You got to really be aware with this guy up the plate. Really hits the ball hard and has good eyes. The 0-1 pitch is taken for a strike, so Joe's down quickly 0-2, and
Gotta find a way to put this in play here.
see if we can have another great 2-strike hit like Connor Marchand had.
And
Middle away here in this next pitch. 0-2 pitch is taken
in the dirt, and Kunkel was running. Throw to second to get the double play. Excuse me, the runner at second, not the double play. And it was not in time. The double steal was
dirt. That was really well read.
Very
by both
well.
Runners, and Kunkel was there immediately, and looked like Marchand had his doubts there, and
Yep.
obviously drew the throw over to second base, but down there no problem. So RBI opportunity for Joe Kinder,
and he'll foul that one off. I meant to say double steal, not double play, but you know, it was a very executed double steal, or if they would like to call that a pass ball or wild pitch, but either way, the Blue Jays advance second and third.
Kinder's looking to take this ball to right field.
Yeah. And he'll strike out, so the inning is over. Could not put the ball in play. Kinder's 0 for 2. And
so at the end of 2, it is still 4-0 Indians, and Blue Jays had some opportunities that inning. First time all game they had runners in scoring position. They had 2 runners in scoring position that inning, but they fall short. So
we'll head to the third.
Valencia can have an even better inning than in the second and improve each inning and get the Blue Jays back out there hitting.
And we will see how the Blue Jays fare this inning versus St. Joe. St. Joe should be having their top of the lineup still up to bat. And
beautiful day out today. It's almost mid-70s here in Liberty, Missouri. It's very nice to see this. It's been a nice long spring, and great year all around here around Missouri, and of course with the Kansas City Royals. Everybody's favorite team around here winning the World Series is a really
kind of an inspiration for these guys.
Experience these past few months. In the first
Valencia gets hit on the first pitch of the inning, so
he's going to turn this really hard there at first, and he's not going to try Craig Strauss' arm.
Would have been trying to go for too much. No need to force it with nobody out.
That was a
Just
great attacking that first pitch, because I'm sure they're aware that he's attacking every batter with the first pitch fastball, and he jumped on that really well.
And here is the pitcher, Cameron, and we'll see what he can do. Last time flew out to right, and pitching very well. Let's see what he does with the bat here. And he'll swing and rake it to right again. This time it'll find a hole at right center.
Again,
and
not going to test Craig Strauss, and they're going to be there with 2 really quick hits now on 2 pitches. And
how often do you see that? 2 pitches, 2 hits.
There's a designated hitter, Zach Hanley.
And I'm sure Valencia is not liking the start to this inning, as
5-hole hitter coming up with 2 runners on and no outs, and Coach Braxton come out for a mound visit. I'm not surprised.
And pen action, I would be shocked if no one got up in the pen. And they do make the switch. Valencia's day is done. 2 innings, works into the third, but cannot escape it. Rough day for him.
4 runs, 7 hits, and now it's up to Colton Van Vleck to get the Blue Jays out of this early hole. And he's a great sidearmer, and
throw him off a little with the sidearm. Valencia just did not have it today, it looked like. Got through it in the second, but overall just did not have his stuff today.
Great 2-seam, 4-seam fastball, which is very deceiving to the hitter going in at sidearm. It kind of freaks out the right-handed hitters a little bit, and especially when you throw it in that changeup, it can be a very vital pitch. And you see his warm-up tosses, kind of goes down from below, and very, very accurate pitcher, hits his spots.
And we'll see what he can do, as he's already coming in with a little trouble, as you know. Another
thing too, Blue Jays don't seem to have a lot of confidence going into this game, and they're normally kind of very lighthearted and smiles on their faces. They're not seem more serious and a little more slow, you know.
Yeah, you know, the team
don't seem to have the energy that they normally have, and
yeah, and the body language by Kunkel at third when Kinder struck out was just not normally the Blue Jays. Normally when someone strikes out at the plate, we're very supportive, and you know, it just looked frustrating, and it gets frustrating whenever you're in an early hole. And you know, at the end of the day, we're a team, and
so it'll be the designated hitter, Zach Hanlon, facing Colton Van Vleck, and see what he can do with runner on first and second with no outs. So 2 very, very quick, hard-hit hits to the gaps and sent Valencia packing. Really not a very good start for Valencia today. First pitch by Van Vleck.
And that's hit, caught.
Soft liner out.
And they will not get the double play, kind of close.
Good heads-up play by Rochester right there, making a play that didn't seem any close at all to get that. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Van Vleck, and that changes things a little bit. Now you got 1 out, the bottom half of the order coming up for St. Joe, and
that was a big out, and quick.
It was. Now you got forces everywhere except for home base, and Blue Jays where they want to be right now.
That ball is hit very hard to left. Catch is going to be made, and no tags. So what a job out of the bullpen so far.
2 pitches, 2 outs. It's that deceiving fastball and changeup right there that we're talking about.
And you know, this innings had 4 pitches, 2 singles, and 2 outs. That's crazy. 4 pitches, and 2 from this guy and 2 from Valencia. That's just amazing.
It's that deceiving sidearm. It makes the hitter anxious and swing at every pitch. So
that has popped up very high towards third,
foul territory,
running over, and that will just land foul.
So good effort there by all the Blue Jays.
Tyler Miller and Joe Kinder, and a fielder number 9,
Brandon Green. So 3 pitches, 3 hacks, and all strikes.
No hits.
So Van Vleck
2 outs and a foul ball, and we'll see what he can do on this possession.
So far doing a
Excuse me, this pitch. And the pitch. Popped foul.
So 0-2 now on number 8, Zach Knatzer, who had a double back in the first part of those back-to-back-to-back doubles that drove in a run.
And the pitch
0-2 pitch to Hensler.
It is way outside. Breaking for third. Throw is not in time. Throw to second, not in time. Each runner advances to base.
Good pick there by a third baseman.
Yep.
Number 3, Tyler Miller. That's very impressive. I know I would have let that go under my glove, so that was a very good play right there to.
And that would have costed a run.
More than maybe 2.
Depending on how slowly it rolled.
1-2 now on Zach. 1-2 pitch.
And he'll pop that up mile high.
Rochester calls it. Rochester gets it. So very good job for Colton Van Vleck getting out of that inning for Valencia. I think he's hurt himself another inning. That was very impressive. Very impressive.
And that was a very good inning from him. And actually not limiting the damage, absolutely controlling the damage. Nothing came across on him, although both runners did move into scoring position.
We've gone 2 1/3 here at Blue Jay Field, and 4-0 Central. This is
no scoring since the first.
Again, not very, not what I expected here. I expected the Blue Jays not to give up that many runs here, at least early, and see if the Blue Jays can come back from this, because pretty soon we're going to be halfway through this game. It's only 7 innings, not 9, and Cameron's dealing, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yep, as we're in the bottom of the 3rd, this game has flown by to this point. Very quick pitcher in Cameron.
Valencia, it's not that he was bad, it was just he was missing out over the plate, and he had good velocity, good good movement on his pitches. It was just, you can't miss over the plate, especially when you're ahead in the count. He got ahead in the count early, and you can't miss over the plate when those hitters are protecting the plate. They see something even remotely close over the plate, they're going to hack at it, and that's what they did, and they got hits.
Yeah, very good hitting Central team as we've seen today. They've proven themselves.
Justin Vochester, who's single in the first inning, will lead off the Blue Jays.
Got the 2, 3, and 4 coming up in the first pitch of the inning.
Cameron is taken high, a changeup.
So it appears that this umpire is a but a low strike umpire, as that one could have gone either way. But
Catcher did a nice job framing that, but not enough, and it hits him.
And it hits him, so that's why to get an inning started. Take one for the team, and
that's how Blue Jays win games. They've had more than one walk-off this year on a bunt by Craig Straws. Very, very impressive and really good at small ball. And they'll turn walks and hit by pitches into runs like that. So let's see what the Blue Jays can do here. Matt Gassner, who flew out to deep center first at bat, is up now. First baseman for the Blue Jays. First pitch is, and he tried to go for the bunt, but
yeah, playing small ball, trying to get the runner in scoring position, but
first bunt shown of the day. I'm surprised it wasn't a hit and a hit and run kind of situation where Rochester was going, but it's not needed during a sacrifice attempt. And it's kind of funny because St. Joe knows the bunt's coming. They know the small ball and steal's coming, but it's kind of crazy. You know, you can never seem to stop it. The Blue Jays just seem to get win after win and get base after base. It's very impressive.
You know, and the move from Bragg to take Valencia out of the game might have kept the Blue Jays in this game. You get down more than 4 runs, not much time left.
That is a massive hole to dig back out of, and
strike.
Gassner takes strike 2, so it's 1-2 now on Matt.
You know, it can just kill your confidence early down so many runs, but the Blue Jays just need to go in there, get back in this game, score, chip away, and eventually they'll find themselves very close. There's a ground ball to second. He tags him, and that is he is safe at second. They say he did not tag him, so a very fortunate play for the Blue Jays. So
sacrifice bunt didn't come into play, but ends up
same result as the sacrifice bunt. And I did think initially that the umpire was going to rule him out.
So it's kind of, you really want to get that bunt down on that first pitch of that at bat, because when that happens, it really kind of can lower your momentum, because you want to get that bunt down and all of a sudden you're down 0-1, and then all of a sudden you're down 0-2, and now you got to protect and you haven't gotten to swing. You probably haven't had a good look, but Craig Straw's first pitch is swung on, and that's going to get him to third. So
at
Craig
third
Strauss
with 2 outs.
Interesting there. The good hustle, always.
And you know, you say, well, at third with 2 outs, it's not like you can get a sacrifice. But at third with 2 outs is so important, because a passed ball, you're scoring.
Anytime there's a runner on first base, it brings a sense of urgency to all the fielders and the pitcher especially. It's a little different now with Cameron on the mound because he's a lefty, but he's going to go from the windup, so Rochester's going to be able to get a good lead. And Brandon Green is up at the plate, trying to
get the Blue Jays on the board early.
Himself a stake and put the Blue Jays on the board. And misses high, 1-1.
Put up a good at bat. Doesn't have to be hit really hard, but just make a good hit up the middle and get on board. Swung on and missed for strike 2. Struck out to end last inning Kinder, and this inning you're hoping it's not going to be the same for Green.
We've come to the conclusion that Cameron is deceiving the hitters. Very few hits, and they're all the fastballs.
And a swing is fouled off. Check swinged it.
It's a perfect example of what I'm saying there. He is fooling Liberty hitters. He did not want to swing at that ball, but he fooled them enough to turn the foul off. So the pitches that the Blue Jays get hits on are fastballs in the first or second pitch of the at bat, where he's trying to get ahead in the count. And the 1-2 pitch to Brandon is
low for a ball. There.
Pitch he just fouled off. Pitch ago.
You know, very frustrating when you check swing or just swinging a pitch that you know you don't want to swing at, but it just looks good, and all of a sudden dips off. Let's see what Cameron has on the 2-2 pitch. And a pitch in the dirt, that'll make it 3-2.
So really good turnaround here. He's down 1-2 now. All of a sudden full count now, and this one I would say favors in the Brandon Green.
We'll see what Cameron gives him. Swing and a miss, and that is the inning. So another runner stranded at third.
Great cutter, slider, sinker type pitch right there. That was
it's been
the full great hitter like Brandon Green right there.
It's been one of those, I guess you could say 3 innings. It's been one of those starts for Blue Jays. Just so far, nothing going right.
At the end of 3, St. Joe Central 4, Blue Jays 0. That's a Hawthorne Bank thing or anything? Today's game is brought to you by Hawthorne Bank. Hawthorne Bank has been serving lots of Missouri communities for a very, very long time here in the Liberty area, and Hawthorne Bank is a proud sponsor of Liberty Baseball and Liberty High School broadcasting, so we thank them for their support with our crew and our production. Also like to thank Nile Media Group, who helped us with all of our technical stuff, and I'd like to thank Darren Whitley, our head of
Leading off the
production here.
top of the fourth, catcher, Caden Root.
As the beginning of the 4th inning, Van Vleck on the mound. Very impressive to get all 3 outs of relief. I think the first pitch is taken in, ball 1. Caden Root, the catcher, struck out his first time. Valencia's only strikeout. He takes strike 1 there, so he Root's first at bat was really the only dominant at bat by Valencia as he fouls all away now. Van Vleck is ahead 1-2. Very, very great pitcher for.
That's a pop-up.
Popped up right there.
And to left, playable.
Green will reel it in for out number 1.
It's very important that get some good relief pitching here because of the start shortened because of the struggles from Valencia. Very important that this relief can get us through the game and not have to waste much of the pen.
A 1 pitch from Van Vleck is swung on, and that's going to drop for a single.
Yeah, that's going to drop into center for a single. So
that's a good piece of hitting right there. That wasn't necessarily a hanger by Van Vleck. He really, number 4, Nick Hanlon did a really good job of keeping his hands in and driving that up the middle. That was a good piece of hitting right there.
Yeah, we'll see what.
So 1 on, 1 out. The Blue Jays.
See what unfolds this inning. Hopefully, ground ball double play.
Jacob Mollarini, first baseman for St. Joe.
Blue Jays have already turned a double play today, and we'll see if they can do it again as the first pitch is low for a ball. And the pitch swung on and grounded to.
Not enough for 2.
Oh, it got past. And they're gonna stop him at third.
So
a miscue by the Blue Jays.
He didn't quite get his glove on the ground, and that was just kind of a odd play all around. That wasn't hit very hard. So
you know, you
really
kept
act real quick.
You kept
those balls right there, and now all of a sudden we're at the top of the order for St. Joe, and with 2 runners on, with only 1 out, runner in scoring position. So.
Just sloppy play right there.
Yeah.
Something that you can't do in baseball. You got to have fundamentals. And
well, Van Vleck pitched really well out of a jam last inning, so let's see what he can do.
Grounded foul.
It's going to be very hard to do with only 1 out and a runner on third. Any number of things can happen.
The double play is still, though.
Yes,
still
very, very, very true, but you got your number 1 hitter at the plate who's probably very, very fast in Aaron Moore. outfielder too, so you know he's got some speed and got good legs. So
hopefully we can just
get a strikeout or a pop up.
Focus at one batter at a time. Get out of this inning. No more damage.
The 0-1 pitch to Moore.
Swung on, and that's a base hit up the middle. That's going to plate one, 5-0. The first run since the first inning. And
Blue Jays have been shut down
as you
so far, and
as you said earlier, one team makes a mistake, the other team capitalizes.
It's very true, because if you make that play, you know, that's
next batter, shortstop, Jacob Gill.
2 outs, runner on second.
You don't know what unfolds. And with Craig Straw's arm, you don't.
Pressure on Van Vleck, and like you said, with Craig Straw's arm, he trusts his defense. He thinks, you know, they can back him up, and they let him down there. Very rare miss there by Rochester. He's a great second baseman.
And get some bullpen action going as the pitch is high. Some more pen action.
Still only 1 out now because that miscue by Rochester, and so 1 out and
costed the Blue Jays right there.
And second, so Blue Jays going to have to pitch out of a similar situation that past inning, and that's hit well, and that's going to get through for another base hit. That should.
They will send the runner, and he will score, and it is.
The runners hold up at first and second, so
6-0.
Very, very well executed. Like I said, back-to-back hits from the number 1 and number 2 hole hitters.
Blue Jays
have really been struggling this game with the pitching. The only dominant inning has been by Van Vleck last inning, and so far came out strong, but even that first out was hit very, very well to Brandon Green. But
Blue Jays lost their
channel it in and get a few runs on the board and chip away. I mean, nothing else you could do, and that ball is hit well, and Marchand's going to get there, and he's going to throw it back in. 2 down.
Blue Jays losing their last game 7-3, so really don't want to go on a 2-game skid, but
Thomas Connor working in the bullpen to get ready.
And here is the 2 outs. Runner in scoring position. See what he can do. Fouled off.
All the way, 0-1. St. Joe really came out with a plan today. They been really, really well scouted this game as the 0-1 pitch is taken high for ball 1. It's even at 1, but Blue Jays don't seem to be very well prepared this game. They normally are really attacking first and are the ones that score first, and that's fouled away now, 1 and 2.
With Stagner at second, there's some speed, so got to be careful.
Gill over there on. No, that's Moore over there, the pitcher on first there. So proved to be a very, very well contact team, and they've really jumped on the Blue Jays now. 6-0, 11 hits.
There's the pitch, and it is fouled off.
Fooled him, but barely got a piece of that. Great pitch there by Van Vleck. Really fooled him.
Yep. If you can just get through this inning, it'll be 2 innings of work, and move to the next one. Ooh, nearly hit him. And
ankles, but good block by Aaron Easley.
Good read by Stagner not to go there. He would have been out.
Easley's a very, very real well-rounded catcher. Got the power at the plate as he flied out to deep right the first time up at bat, and good block there, and almost would have thrown out that guy if he went. The 2-2 pitch
is high.
Full count now, so if he walks in, will be bases juiced for number 13, Drew Pecora.
And a nice pick. Oh, they've got him picked off.
Gonna try to get the pickle in. Wow. Okay.
Here we go. He's in a pickle, and he is tagged out. So great pickoff move. And I think if he keeps going to third, he has a better chance of sliding and almost making it.
Yeah, that was a really, really good move there by Van Vleck. Was not expecting it at all. Obviously, was a steal play on that. With 2 outs, runners on first and second. That was really smart play there by the Blue Jays. So at the end of 3 1/3, 3 1/2 innings here, we're going to the bottom of the 4th. With St. Joe up 6-0, put up a 4 spot in the first, and then none in the next 2, and then 2 again here in the 4th. So Blue Jays have 4 more opportunities to get back into this game.
And you know, St. Joe is really taking this crowd out of this game. And, you know, not much for them to cheer about because of the dominance.
Here is from the St. Joe crowd. Normally there's a lot of support behind the Blue Jays, and there's really not much to cheer about other than the few hard hits there by Rochester and Marchand. Those are the only 2 hits in the ball game for the Blue Jays, and there's not really much else to say. You know, the pitching, you know, it wasn't bad, but obviously wasn't good. You know, they're just leaving pitches out over the plate. And
here's Ben Kunkel, who had an infield single earlier in this game, but was stranded at 3rd. So we're getting close to the top of the lineup. It's very important if you can get some of your, as there's a strike, if you can get some of your back of the lineup players to get on for the front, and there's a swing and a miss, so completely fooling him on the first 2 pitches.
Quickly down 0-2 now for Marchand, who that infield single barely got a piece of that at the end of the bat, and
popped up.
Fly out to this.
And he's not seeing it very good, and it falls.
Very, very tough time to play on this field. Every time
hopefully,
there's a day game here, it's always the sun's always a problem for those outfielders. And immediately when that was hit, it seemed like a sure out. And
hopefully that sparks us to get something going, as it did for St. Joe earlier.
Yeah, that miscue by Rochester, which wasn't necessarily an error, but he just never quite picked it up. And another Blue Jays can see if they capitalize. Aaron Easley, who flied out deep to left center, takes ball 1.
And if Kunkel's stealing on that, he's gone. But was not running on the play, and here is the pitch, and that is in there for a strike.
1-1 count on Aaron Easley. Cameron's pitched a really well-rounded game, not making a few mistakes, and
off speed for a strike.
So now he's up in the count. On Aaron Easley. Aaron swung at the 2nd pitch of his at bat the first time, and like I said, just missed a home run. And other than that, that was probably the hardest hit ball we've seen out here for the Blue Jays. And Aaron's going to look to protect here and try to somehow get Marsh over.
And that's foul. Hard hit.
Thomas Connor still getting loose in the Blue Jay bullpen.
It wouldn't shock me if he comes in next inning. That ball is fouled straight back.
So right on that pitch, but it is still 1-2. Coach Bragg and Coach Emilio not pleased with the effort they're getting out of their Blue Jays, and you can see it in their faces that
that's fouled off.
Not how they thought this game was going to go out. So they're 5-0 in conference play this year, and might be 5-1 if the Blue Jays don't turn this around. They've had a few crazy innings this year when they've scored like 8 or 9 runs. So, you know, the Blue Jays, they do what they know how to do. They can
get the starter out of the game, and then magic can happen.
Cameron has pitched a gem here, only giving up 3 hits after
one was a pop-up.
3 full innings, and
one was an infield single. So really,
and that ball should have been caught that dropped from
and a strikeout.
Aaron Easley was fooled on a slider, and he's gone. So very, very well executed pitch there by Cameron, and he's been nails.
Right fielder, Connor Marchand.
Blue Jays very fortunate not to have 2 outs right now, as the first inning pop-up
frustrating at bat for Aaron easily right there, and it's Marchand takes ball, strike one, excuse me.
And
after Aaron had fouled off at least 3 or 4 pitches there, and just couldn't. When you keep fouling off pitches, you get more anxious and anxious, and it's ball 2.
I'm surprised
taken there by Marchand, but
I'm surprised that the base runners that we have had on base today haven't been taking off more frequently.
I'd say eventually, if not this inning, next inning, Bragg will start sending them because they have to get those opportunities to score. I mean, especially in a 6-run game like this, they're being out hit by 8 hits, and that's not what you want. That's not normally what you see from the Blue Jays. The 2-1 pitch by Cameron. It's Connor Marchand.
Is grounded to third, and that could be 2.
For second.
And will not be in time.
Oh.
Whoa, it will be in time.
Oh, very, very close.
I thought that he made it, but the ump thought different, and that is the inning.
That one.
What?
Bragg might want to call New York on that one, but
yes, Bragg might not agree with that one.
Very well, hard hit ball. That's why it was such an easy play to turn. Hit that ball right on the nose, but right at third baseman. Van Vleck back out there for another inning.
Surprised that they're giving him more work, but appears that he needs some more. Need him to give him some more innings.
I was not expecting this result, but you can never guess with the game of baseball.
Nope, one starting pitcher has a bad day.
The world could lose to the worst team in the world, 30-0. You never know. It depends on who's on this game. The Blue Jays aren't necessarily out of this game, you know, or completed 4 innings, got 3 innings left. That's a lot of baseball.
Yeah, and you know, it's gonna take some chipping away, which you know would have helped if
an inning, and they can get back in this game, no doubt.
It would have helped if they would have gotten some of those runners in that they got to second and third earlier, but you know, just shooting themselves in the foot at the plate, and it's been costing them.
Let's see if Van Vleck can turn it around like he did that first inning. He did. That first pitch to the designated hitter is in play, and he's going to make a nice stop there. He's still got time, and he's out. The 1 pitch, 1 out. Good start for Van Vleck in 4th.
As the St. Joe Central bench tried to cause a distraction.
But close, but no cigar for Van Vleck there. That was very impressive there. Good reactions too, because if Zach Hanlon hits that ball a little bit closer on the barrel, that's a line drive right back at him. So great changeup, curveball type pitch to fool him and get him to roll over on it. The first pitch is taken for ball 1.
And another ball.
Taken low. That was kind of a not a mistake pitch, but just a throwaway pitch to try to make.
And another chopped ball, this time to third. Miller will throw it, and there are 2 out. Ooh, uh-oh. It looked like an injury to a St. Joe player as he was running to first.
That's Drew Pecora. He stumbled up, and he's still down.
And he is severely hurt trying to get up, but struggling. Hope that he'll be all right.
But that was this is kind of unfortunate for St. Joe and kind of unfortunate for the Blue Jays, because Van Vleck is in a groove right now, and
you know,
2 quick out, and now he's going to stand there and wait, and hopefully he's okay. He's standing up, which is good, and looks like he's going to be okay. He's going to be limping off, and he's an outfielder too, so he needs his legs, and
as the Blue Jay fans give him a hand. Never want to see anyone injured.
You know, he's running hard down first base. You always want to have a hard 90s.
Yeah.
And must have gotten his foot a little too much on that bag there, but especially on a slow roller like that, you really got to take every chance you have to get on base, and he just slipped up there. So good to see that he's okay, and Van Vleck doesn't have to wait that long, and we're right back into baseball here. So far, a good inning for Van Vleck. Pitch number 8. He's taking for a ball. Strike, excuse me. Zach Knatzer at the plate.
And that ball's hit pretty hard into center. Straw's running, and he makes a nice running catch. 2 in the inning. Blue Jays get the St. Joe Central to go 1-2-3 for the first time today.
Very good inning for Van Vleck, coming back after that 2 runs he gave up in the 4th, and see the Blue Jays get something going now with the momentum. That was a really nice inning.
We go to the bottom of the 5th.
This is gut check time for the Blue Jays. You got 3 more, as of right now, only got 3 more attempts at getting back in this game, and every time they get out, it's just getting dimmer and dimmer. But
yeah, and
how about Noah Cameron?
He's been lights out. It's ace status. Got his best stuff out today.
And the only 3 hits that he's given up have been a line drive just out of the reach of the second baseman by Justin Vochester, and a couple bloop singles, and one of those singles was just because of the sun, you know, so very, very...
And there was an infield single.
Yes, and executing his pitches, so keeping the ball down, which is what you always want to do, especially within a dangerous team like the Blue Jays.
And you know, Liberty has to get at least a run or 2 this inning, because versus someone like Cameron, you're not going to get all of them in 1 inning. You can't expect to get all of them in 1 inning. But if you can just start chipping away a little, because we've got people in scoring position. It doesn't matter how we've gotten them there. We've gotten them there, and it's...
Cameron's reminding me a little bit of David Price for the Boston Red Sox. He's a great lefty in the MLB, and David Price has a lot of really good off speed and keeps the ball down a lot. And that's what Cameron's done so far today. He's kept the ball down. He's got multiple strikeouts. Most recently, Aaron Easley, who kept attacking Easley, fastball, and finally got him with a slider down in the dirt. And that's great pitching right there.
Yeah, Price is very dominant, and same could be said for Cameron today, as he has dominated. And we have a change in right field, as the injury must have been severe enough to take him out of the game. And with a 6-0 lead, no need to push.
That's kind of a shame too. He already had a hit in the game and almost beat out that throw, but obviously
outfielder, don't want to risk it, don't want to miss too much time.
But Cameron goes to work in the bottom of the 5th. And the first pitch,
Jason Green.
Tyler Miller is...
Excuse me, Tyler Miller. And
1-0 pitch is taken. Ooh, that looked like a strike. Must have been
a little high. Or inside.
A little kind of inconsistent here. That was a really well executed pitch. So the 2-0 pitch.
And there's a strike.
There's a strike, 2-1. And Cameron's really keeping a good pace. Doesn't really give the Blue Jays a lot of time to think. And
yeah, you know, just quick.
Blue Jays, that could be a strategy. Taking your time in the box as the 2-1
That's
pitch.
a nice hit in the right.
Should be
running and immediately getting his name called coming into the game after the injury. And he answers for the St. Joe Indians. And Kinder, top of the lineup.
The Blue Jays.
Kinder 0 for 2, but's had some decent swings and nearly a double down the third base line.
Strikeout victim his last time up. Really kind of frustrated Joe Kinder. Great eye, great player as he takes ball 1 there in the dirt. He got fooled on a changeup and hit himself on the head there after that strikeout, because he knew he probably shouldn't have swung at that pitch and take strike 2. So strike 1, excuse me. So it's 1-1 on Kinder now. So Cameron showing no signs of letting up.
And a check swing,
Check swing
foul.
is going to be foul, so Joe didn't mean to do it, but he's down now on the count, 1-2. Yeah, that really says something about Cameron when the Jays' best hitter is being held 0 for 2 with being fooled a lot up there on the plate. Is way ahead of that pitch as he fouled it off, trying to protect the plate. Kinder was the all-state shortstop last year.
And that ball is crushed
territory
into left.
And he's gonna.
And that's off the wall. So a nice hit by Kinder, who will stop at second with a
thought about going for 3 there.
1-out double. So
almost
2-out double, excuse me, from Joe Kinder. Very productive.
A few feet away from a home run right there. That was close.
Left fielder almost had it. And that was a 1-out double. And let's see if they can get him home. Need to start chipping. That was the hardest ball they've hit off of Cameron today.
Yeah, no doubt. That was almost a dinger there. Second of the year for Joe Kinder, almost. Definitely deserving of that all-state shortstop position. It's fouled away by Justin Vauchester, who has one of the only singles there. Is watch out.
You know he wants to make up for that error that he made in that misplay that he made in the couple innings ago.
Base hit could do it. Joe's speed.
Yep, base hit could get that first run over and maybe start to build the confidence up. It's really a confidence killer whenever someone's dealing like Cameron.
You really don't want to be shut out by this team. But there's not really anything you can do when
called
Cameron's
strike 3 and he froze him at the plate. Unbelievable.
That was amazing right there.
And Gassner will come to the plate with 2 outs and needing to get a hit if he wants to get the Blue Jays on the board this inning. Strike one. Dominant first inning for the St. Joe. Other than that, it hasn't been terrible. And that's the ball in the dirt. Advancing to third will be Joe Kinder, and rounding even. So awareness by Joe to take the extra base, and another runner at third.
1-1 the count now on Matt Gassner, who's also another very dangerous.
Another pass ball, and Kinder could score.
Hitter, you know, so he was a finalist in the All-State for third baseman, and he's playing first base this year with a lot of the seniors. So
and that ball is hit to short, and that is
the
inning by a step. After 5, 6-0 St. Joe Central.
What a performance by the Indians so far. This has been a very, very impressive game. To me, so far, the player of the game is no doubt Cameron. I mean, executing his pitches and making seemingly every out. Maybe only one mistake, and that was Joe Kinder last inning. So maybe some signs of wear and tear, but very, very well pitched game.
And still pitching a shutout, so doing his job.
Blue Jays don't really have the Blue Jays don't really have a expression on their faces right now. They really don't know what to think here.
Kind of shocked by this.
I know where I'm going after today's game. I'm going over to Hawthorne Bank. Hawthorne Bank has been a sponsor for the Liberty community for over 50 years and been a proud sponsor of Liberty baseball and the broadcasting department. So Hawthorne Bank.
Hopefully I can go there too after school, after this game.
It was the first pitch of the inning by Van Vleck, still out there after that dominant 5th inning.
And a pop-up
Should be
into
okay
center.
for
Straws
Straws.
is there and makes the catch.
Very well executed play right there into the sun. That's not an easy play. And one out quickly. So Van Vleck has channeled it in after that 2-run inning. The quick 3rd inning, the mistakes there in the 4th inning, but perfect 5th inning and start out the 6th inning very, very well. So 1 down now for number 4, Nick Hanlon. Van Vleck's been a difference in this game for the Blue Jays.
Yep.
He's kept it in there as much as
that's,
possible, and that's a very well placed hit. Couldn't have placed it any better. Matt Gaster is right there. Rochester is right there. It's just right in between them.
I like that hustle down the first base line. Even though it's into right, it's still hustle. Because you don't know if that ball passes past right, and you could get extra bases out of that. Well, if you're just jogging down that first base line, you can't take that extra base. You can't, even with the 6-0 lead, always looking for more.
Off in the distance there is a player warming up for St. Joe Central, so maybe thinking about taking out Cameron, which is a little bit surprising, but you always got to have a pitcher ready, I suppose. So.
And Cameron was kind of tailing off last inning, it appeared, with Kinder's hard hit ball, trying to play aware. I don't want to overwork him. Here's the pitch. And that's strike.
0-2 now on Hanlon. Excuse me, this is Aaron Moore, and that's hitting to play.
Hard.
Should be enough for Marchester, but
Ooh.
Rochester calls off Marchand and
Almost
gets
a
the play.
collision.
Good communication, though. That's one thing that they stress a lot in the Blue Jay program. Always communicating, always talking, and that's what they do. So 2 quick outs now for Van Vleck, trying to work off that single there. Cage Stagner up. Ooh, almost hit him. And he's safe.
So
steal attempt is good. It was close play, but not close enough for the Blue Jays to get the out there. So runner on second now, 2 outs. So single now for Cage Stagner will score one. He already has an infield single, just the very first hit of the game. Good block by Easley, keeping number 4, Hanlon, at second base.
And let's see if he can get out of this inning. Gotta get this man out. And another ball.
So 2-0 now. 3-0 now. So if I was Cage Stagner, I'd be either taking or looking for that meatball right down the middle. That's where Van Vleck's gonna put it. I could put money on it. And there's strike 1. Van Vleck does not want to lose this batter. He had 2 quick outs, suffered that single, but
that ball's hit
and that's
fairly hard into center. Craig running in, and deja vu to the end of last inning. Makes the catch, and that is the inning. The top of the inning, as we'll go to the bottom half. Blue Jays need some offense.
As we go to the bottom half of the 6th, still 6-0 Indians.
Been a pitcher's duel of late. After the first inning, really not much hitting to go around.
As Cameron will undoubtedly go out for try to finish 6 innings, maybe even the complete game. So we play 7 innings instead of 9. We are in the bottom of the 6th, so he's got 2 to go. And I'm Brent O'Leary along with my partner Jackson Ogden, and it's been an honor talking to you guys and calling this game for you today. So beautiful day out here today, and
beautiful weather for baseball.
Yeah, couldn't get any better. And then Kansas City Royals are facing the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim later today, and hope to get them another win. Start off good this year, just like the Blue Jays have. Blue Jays 17-3 this year so far, and very, very impressive.
As we get ready for this next inning,
Blue Jays can do something to stop Cameron. He's been very, very dominant.
Six center fielder Craig Strong.
Noah Cameron. Who would have thought a scrawny lefty from St. Joe Central shutting down the powerful Liberty Blue Jays? But he's pitched very, very, very well. Almost David Price-like, as we mentioned earlier. Very, very good job of executing his pitches.
See what he can do.
As Craig Strauss leads off and takes ball one.
Hopefully they can get some offense here. Let's get a 3-spot in this inning and a 3-spot next inning and eventually take this game.
Ball 2 now, so Craig Strauss, who is a hitter you do not want to get behind.
Don't want to put the pressure on if you're a pitcher and your pitch count's getting high, you don't want to put the pressure on you.
So now after going 5 scoreless innings, Cameron's come out and throwing 3 straight balls to Craig Strauss. Not a good sign. And
a strike. Craig has already walked in this game, so we'll see how he decides to pitch him on 3-1. Craig.
There's no way you swing at that pitch. He's been in there, and 3-1 pitches is swung at and
hits it to second. So a promising start, disappointing end to the at-bat. As Cameron's gone 5 1/3 of shutout baseball.
Left fielder Brandon Green.
Although the Blue Jays do have 4 hits, Cameron's pitching like he could be pitching a no-hitter right now. Very dominant, almost as dominant as that. You know, not very hard hit balls, pop-ups, infield singles. The hardest hit ball today was Joe Kinder's, but he, as you said earlier, and that one hits
Brandon Green and
the foot.
Gets to take first base.
The second batter hit today from.
Next batter's a designated hitter.
That's the second batter that Cameron has hit today. So Kunkel, who has an infield single, needs to get something going if they want to get back in the game.
I wouldn't be surprised here if Cameron lets another runner on base. They'll sub out a pitcher, and Green's hurt. He's struggling a little bit. See, looks like he might be calling for pinch runner. Nope. Okay. But
definitely not an intentional
really
hit. And then, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunt attempt not sacrificed here because of Kunkel's speed. Just try to get an infield bunt, and you know, then after that, try, you know, do anything you can to get Cameron out of this game.
As opposed to an outfield bunt.
True. Well,
anything can happen here in baseball.
Anything can happen.
There's a strike. Great off-speed pitch there. Now it's 1-2 now on Ben Kunkel.
Put the ball in play. Don't strike out. And he does just that, but it is popped up really high and will be caught.
Reel it in. So Cameron's done a good job working around that hit batter, and he is 1 out away from throwing 6 shutout innings. But for the dangerous Aaron Easley, who's looking for redemption after that strikeout back in the 5th. So
that strategy of putting the ball in play is really, the Blue Jays really do use it. It's just that tonight, this evening, the Blue Jays, when they've been doing it, they just haven't got all of the barrel of the bat on it, and it's just not been enough. But always better to put the ball in play than strike out, because you never know what's going to happen.
So Easley swings and misses there on the first pitch. That was similar to the pitch he struck out on. So smart by Cameron to come back with that thing, and Easley lays off of that pitch. That's the exact same pitch, and that was smart by Cameron to throw that. The 3 pitches that he has seen, the last 3 pitches from Cameron, have all been changeups in the dirt. So Easley swung on 2 of them, but he finally lets one go.
And he checked that time. It's still getting him. And that ball is raked into left. And testing third, and he'll make it standing. So
good redemption at bat.
Speed right there.
Let's see what the Indians do as the head coach for the Indians. Coach Seifert is on the edge of the stairs, looking to maybe come out and get Cameron. Looks like he's gonna let him pitch.
Let him battle through. You know, with a 6-0 lead. Can't be too concerned, but
only 5 hits allowed, 5 scoreless innings. Really great job too.
Blue Jays need a big hit here.
Cameron. St. Joe coach Seifert played college ball for Missouri State Bears and Iowa Western Community College, so he really knows his baseball.
Here's first pitch of the at bat. It is a strike, so behind in the count. Let's start.
ahead in the count for Cameron, that is.
Yep. And that is just fouled for strike 2, so already down in the count 0-2.
That was just a excuse me swing there.
Yep. Runners will run on contact.
Was
don't want to strand him another man at third.
Marchand.
Let's get the hit here.
Some
break up the
nice
shutout.
Catches out there in right field today.
And a ball grounded, and second baseman gets it. That's the inning.
So after 6, he's thrown.
Shutout
Noah
baseball.
Cameron has thrown 6 innings of shutout baseball. Wow, what a turn of events. I was not expecting this from Noah Cameron.
No, not at all. It's just been complete dominance. You know, but the Blue Jays have left too many men on base today. Keep stranding people at second, third. It's frustrating.
It looks like Van Vleck will come out for another inning, and why not? He's been lights out ever since the 2-run fourth, which this game has been flying by as we are in the top of the 7th, the final inning of this game, if the Blue Jays do not find a way to muster up 6 runs.
It'll be tough, but anything can happen.
Leading off the top of the 7th, shortstop, Jacob Gill.
Top of the 7th is about to come underway as the St. Joe Central Indians shortstop is at the plate. Hunter Van Vleck, he's been lights out almost as much as.
And that's to short. Kinder's throw, not in time. Frustrating there.
The two plays Joe Kinder has had the opportunity to get, he's got there with his glove and just a fast runner and a really, really deep and slow roller ball. Just wasn't enough time. Frustrating. There's nothing you could do there. Made the play. Just wasn't quite quick enough.
And they're swinging a miss, so still got some stuff left, and you know it's very good that after the slow start by Valencia that the Blue Jays have not had to use too many pitchers today. That's strike.
And really the only thing you can take out of this game that's good for the Blue Jays is Van Vleck. You know, he was able to come back from those 2 runs. He had so looking at it, he's had 4 shutout innings. This is his, 3 shutout innings. This is his 4th time coming to the mound, and as you see,
got him on an off-speed pitch.
Strikes out Noah Connor, maybe a taste of his own medicine there. That was phenomenal pitching right there. But Noah Cameron looks to come back out on the mound and maybe throw a shutout here. Just a couple mistakes and he could be throwing a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Number 14, Zach Hanlon, the designated hitter, takes ball 1. 1 out in the top of the 7th.
Swing and a miss.
And a miss for Zach Hanlon, even the count back at 1. Foul away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And
if we compare the hitters from both teams, it's obviously on the scoreboard I won't tell you that, but 13 hits for the Indians and Only 5 for the Blue Jays. As
That is
that ball's
popped
up. It
very
should be caught
high.
for the third.
Over there's Miller, makes
Miller,
the
and he
catch.
makes it close to the Blue Jays dugout. As I was saying, you know, Indians have 13 hits, Blue Jays have 5, but it really, the hitters don't seem to be overmatching each other. The Indians don't seem to be over-dominant, and the Blue Jays have had good at-bats almost every time they're up at the plate. They just cannot find a way to get to Noah Cameron. Even the players that have, like Joe Kinder and Aaron Easley, it's taken them, you know, 3 at-bats.
There's the runner goes, not in time, as the ball was dropped by Kinder, and not a perfect throw, but not highly executed.
But to get to a pitcher in your 3rd at bat, that's, you know, it's too late in the game. You can't do that, especially in a high school game where you're only playing 7 innings and not 9.
You know, you try to get him out before you see him that 3rd time, but once everyone's going 0 for 2, 1 for 2, it's not happening. Unlike
very, very well pitched game by Noah.
Because the St. Joe Indians, you know, they went through the lineup and got to their leadoff man in the 2nd inning again. So, you know, it's just been a frustrating day for Liberty all around, but, you know, they've got some good relief pitching here, been playing some decent defense, and see what they can do in the bottom half. First, you got to get out of the top.
St. Joe is 3 outs away from shutting out the 17-3 Blue Jays.
And that's going to score
another run.
It appears.
They're going to try to make the play, and it's close.
Dropped at the plate, so it is 7-0 as
not in time.
Liberty's not warming anybody up, but it is.
Colton Van Vleck has allowed 3 now. Not a bad job.
No, coming out of the pen.
Coming out of the pen, has pitched 3 dominant innings, and this inning's still fairly dominant. Got 2 outs, but allowing 1 run, which is fine. But when you're not having any run support, that's really the problem.
Yeah, you know, he could have allowed nothing, and still we were down 4. You know, he's done his job. Get out of this inning, because that ball's hit fairly hard, and that's gonna get down.
Yeah,
no first
Van
and
Vleck
third.
has kept the Blue Jays in the game as much as he can, but if you don't have runs, you don't have the support from the plate, it's just, it's not going to work out for your team.
And I doubt that Bragg is going to warm anybody up. It doesn't seem as if he will.
It's been a while since Connor has been in the dugout throwing some pitches, so
yeah, I'd say that he's probably not coming out.
Gonna try to go with Van Vleck here to finish the game.
That ball's hit to 3rd. Nice
play. Touch the bag and
the force, and that's the inning.
3 more outs to go for Noah Cameron, and 3 more outs for the Blue Jays to try to get back in this game somehow.
Yes. We'll see if they send him back out. And I do not see him yet.
So they appear to be waiting, and it appears
he
will be coming back out. As
there he is.
There, and they toss him the ball, and he will try to.
And why not? 7 runs of support with the way he's been pitching.
No, new pitcher.
Oh, it is a new pitcher.
So
Noah Cameron's day is done.
And he is over at first base now. So number 4, Nick Hanlon, is going to be coming on to pitch. So I'm a little surprised that he didn't try to go in for the complete game shutout. But I guess pitch count probably getting a little high. And after the last inning, the Blue Jays got to him a little bit. So new pitcher. And Blue Jays, if you look at the box score, you know, the 1st inning, the 4th inning, and the 7th inning have been the only 3 times that they've scored in the innings. So, you know, the 2nd and 3rd innings, the 5th and 6th innings have been shutout innings, and very, very quick innings, like playing how Blue Jays normally play their baseball game. So, you know, there's nothing really you can do about it. You take away that 1st inning, you know, it's only 3-0. It's just a regular baseball game. But when it's 7-0, you know, you've had 15 hits. You know, it's kind of hard to beat your team. And you had 6 shutout innings from your starter. That's all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for in Major League Baseball, you know.
Yeah.
6 innings, no earned runs. That's a fine job by Noah Cameron here tonight. And if the Indians can pull away with this victory, no doubt will he be the player of the game.
Yeah. And deservingly so. Very great stuff. Hadn't heard much about him before coming into today's game, but we figured out today that he is a very dominant pitcher, and that
I'm not sure if Cameron's their ace, but might be after this game. That was very, very
he pitched like it.
impressive to shut out the Blue Jays through 6. The 17-3 Blue Jays, who were very, very, very good. But it'll be Tyler Miller leading off the last chance for the Blue Jays, as the first pitch from Hanlon is
low,
taken for a ball.
It'd be a tough hill to climb, but
Nick Hanlon coming in from the outfield grass.
Seen weirder things.
To the lump of dirt in the center of the field, to the mound, and takes ball 2. So, or
excuse me, that was strike 1.
So 1-1 now on Tyler Miller. Made a good play at third last inning, and
ball in the dirt.
Takes ball 2. Hanlon seems to work a little bit slower than Noah Cameron did, and that was probably one of the highlights of his game. Is
there's a nice hit.
Well, and that's going to be foul.
Just like Kinder's leadoff in the first inning, barely fouled down the third baseline.
That was a 2-base hit for sure. But it'll be 2-2 on Tyler Miller. Tyler Miller made a very good play last half inning to reach into the Blue Jays dugout almost and make a nice grab.
And he will strike out.
2 outs to go for the Indians, and 2 more chances for the Blue Jays as Joe Kinder comes back up after just missing a home run in his last at-bat. But instead took a double off the wall.
It's been a long game for the Blue Jays.
Hanlon is taking his sweet time on the mound, very slow compared to Noah.
Not as fast as Cameron.
Noah Cameron, and that's what helped him, I believe, on the mound, is kept the Blue Jays off balance. Didn't really give him time to stand there and think. And as Joe takes the ball down.
Yeah, and I only saw a Blue Jay call time once, so could have been granted more.
The 1-1 pitch to Joe Kinder.
Hit very high out of play.
1-2 on Joe Kinder. Coach Bragg probably at a loss for words right about now. Not much to say.
He's got to be frustrated. Here's the pitch. Kinder will slap one to short, running in. There is out number 2.
So it's up to Justin Vochester to keep the game alive for the Blue Jays.
Next batter, second baseman Justin Vochester.
Here's the pitch.
Taken.
Yeah, that's a little high. Here's the pitch. And that's a strike. So 2 strikes away from a shutout are the St. Joe Central Indians. Here's the pitch. That hits him. That's third hit batter.
Second time that he's been hitting this game. So yeah. Rochester gets on base, and it'll be up to Matt Gassner now.
There's still a chance.
Matt Gassner going to play third base at Northwest Missouri State. So a lot of Blue Jays going on to play some college ball.
Exciting to see. Here's the pitch, and that is strike 1.
Strike 1.
Again, 2 strikes away from ball game.
So we'd like to remind you to thank Hawthorne Bank for this wonderful production, letting us have the production and equipment we have. Hawthorne Bank has been serving tons of Missouri communities for a long time now, so we'd like to thank Hawthorne Bank for being a proud sponsor of the Liberty Public Schools. As Rochester was running
to, I don't think
second baseman, but I don't think they're going to get him.
He's safe. So
that was kind of an odd play.
Yeah, still alive.
Rochester kind of had a half steal going. It was a little bit of delayed, and
Next batter, center
Gassner
fielder, Craig
hit it
Straw.
where second baseman wasn't. So a little bit of luck going on right there. Catcher goes on to consult with Hanlon, telling him everything's all right. We got 2 down. We're up by 7 runs. We're saying let's just attack Craig Straws right here. Just
It ain't over until it's over.
Throw strike and get that 3rd out.
That
takes
gets
this
away,
ball?
so that's going to be 2nd and 3rd. So, again, 2 runners in scoring position
And Craig Straws
with 2 outs.
has been nails in the later innings. Like I said earlier, he's had 2 walk-offs this year already, and we're not even halfway through the season. Craig Straws knows what to do in clutch situations.
That's
Takes him ball 2, so now he is in favor to get his dinger pitches, some people would say. Hanlon wants to throw a strike right here.
see what he can
And
do.
Craig is looking for it, and he takes
That is in the dirt.
low ball
Good
3.
read
So
not to run on that.
well, 7-0 game. I would swing if the pitch was there.
That's
And
low,
it's not,
so
so
Craig
bases
walks
loaded.
again. Bases are filled for the first time today, I believe, for the Blue Jays.
For Brandon Green.
Brandon Green.
And these have all been with 2 outs. This all started, there was 2
Now
outs,
Coach is
nobody
gonna
on.
come out to see Hanlon.
One swing of the bat can make this a 3-run game. Be very interesting.
Although the Grand Slam is unlikely, it is still very, very possible in a huge park like this. Brandon Green, great contact hitter, good speed.
Let's see what he
Pulling
can
down
do.
the line. Maybe get a player to dive past the outfield and get it past him.
It ain't over
Anything
till
can
it's
happen.
over. He can hit one out of the park. He's got some power. There's strike 1. They have been as
Hanlon
close
needed
as
that
one.
pitch right there. He needed to throw that strike. After
St. Joe
walking
has
Craig
been
on
as
4
close
pitches.
as 1 strike away from defeating Liberty today, but it is not over yet. That is high and
Taken.
outside.
1-1 to the Blue Jays left fielder.
Probably the best inning of hitting for Liberty this, I would say. That's a nice hit, and that's going to break up the shutout, and that's going to plate 2. It is 7-2 is Liberty with nobody out, fills
2
the
outs.
bases with 2 outs, just like the Royals would, and get 2 home. So it ain't over till it's over. Liberty was down to their last strike, but they're still alive.
Next batter, designated hitter, Ben Kunkel.
Ben Kunkel up, could gap shot and make it only a 2-run game. So maybe a little bit of regret from the coaches over there at St. Joe taking out Noah Cameron. Now it's no longer a shutout, and you never know what would happen if he was still in the game. Runners at 1st and 2nd.
That ball's low.
Almost a pass ball there. Good block there by the catcher.
Still stand a chance, Liberty.
That ball's hit well,
is
but
hit
looks to
high,
be
and that
there
should do it.
for the right fielder,
And
it
St.
does.
Joe will take it from Liberty by a final score of 7-2.
But not without a fight. The Blue Jays still kind of found a little bit there at the end, but not quite. After St. Joe being led by the undoubtable player of the game, with 6 shutout innings, only giving up 5 hits. That is Noah Cameron from the St. Joe Central Indians. What a performance by him, and pretty entertaining game for St. Joe fans, not so much for Liberty fans, but
You know,
fun
some
game
late inning scoring though,
nonetheless.
so at least it wasn't a shutout.
We appreciate you guys listening in and joining us for this game on a beautiful afternoon.
Thanks to
in
everyone
April.
who tuned in this year, as this will be our final broadcast. And for the last time this year, let's thank Hawthorne Bank for being an amazing sponsor of our broadcasting department and the Liberty Blue Jays. Hawthorne Bank with you every step of the way. So it's been a good year for Liberty Athletics and a great year for this broadcasting department. I've been truly blessed to be able to broadcast with this department along with Brent O'Leary, as Blue Jays dropped this one 7-2, but
All All right.
Overall, pretty good season, and hopefully they can win state. For Jackson Ogden and Brent O'Leary, this has been your Blue Jay broadcast.
Thanks, guys.